Okay, it's meatballs. It's in a pressure cooker. This is fantastic. Okay, here we go. I have a bowl here. This is a handful of fresh breadcrumbs. This is my homemade bread, probably about 2 inches, and I soak it in milk. Okay, so there's no milk in the bottom of the bowl there, but if you squeeze it, it will squeeze out. It's called a panade, I think, and it just makes the whole meatball more tender. In my Ninja, I did 1 carrot, 1 onion, a small stick of celery, and about 4 or 5 garlic cloves. I like to pulse it all up to nothing. Throw that on top of the bread, mix it up. I have not quite a pound and a half of ground beef. Use whichever ground beef you like. This was on sale today, which is why I have this. I prefer 80/20. I have a sneaking suspicion this is 75/25. Throw an egg in there and give it a shush around. I only like to add 1 egg because I have the milk from the panade mixed in with the bread, and so there's a lot of moisture in here. So if you add too many eggs, it becomes an egg dish. And right here, as I realize, hold on, I can't crack the pepper with a meaty hand. So scrape it or grind in some pepper. I have a little bit Italian seasoning mix that I buy in the bulk, and some breadcrumbs. Just sort of mix it around. What you want it to do is stick together, and that's how you know you have enough breadcrumbs. If you're mixing it, and you see I don't think I have enough here because it's not kind of a cohesive ball. I totally use store-bought dried breadcrumbs. They are handy and fantastic. I don't know what brand that was today, but so you can see here it's sort of happy, sticking together nicely. It's still moist, but it's certainly not crumbly or anything. Okay? I make it and then see the little test to make sure it's natural meatball. Look at that. That's awesome. Anyway, mix it up, throw a towel on it, and leave it for about 10-15 minutes. There we go. I have these silicone baby food jar thing, baby food filler cooker things. And they are super handy. I use all kinds of things in there. I do eggs in there. I do little crustless quiches in there. I've made brownies in there. I've made cake. You can just cook anything in there. And so the slightly under pound and a half will fit my 2 molds beautifully. I think there's a little tiny bit left over that I just fried up and ate because, you really should. So what you want to do is fill each one of these little vessels here. Don't cram it in like crazy tight because you want a little bit of air in there. Just want to sort of fill them without pounding them super, super dense. And as I said, out of the pound and a half, less than pound and a half, you should get 14. And these things are big. So there we go. I think I'm filling it all up. I'm the world's worst divider, as is evident by every single loaf of bread or bunch of rolls I have ever made in my life. Even when I weigh them, I cannot get them even. I don't know. It's my genetic flaw, I suppose. Anyway, so you just flatten them all on the top, and you're totally done. It's the world's easiest meatballs. This is the rack that came with the Instant Pot pressure cooker, and what I do is I stack them slightly off center, one on top of the other, and that's all she wrote. So I've got my Instant Pot here. It's got, about a cup and a half cup of water in there. Put the meatballs in. I do not bother covering them because it doesn't matter if they get a little steamy. Just makes them more moist. Lock and load. I believe I did 10 minutes. Now I have to guess. I think I did 10. Yep, 10 minutes. And then just leave it. After it beeps, let it come out of pressure naturally. And you can just leave them there. Full disclosure, I've left them 3-4 hours and they're perfectly fine. So when it's all done, after your time's up and it's depressurized, look at these little babies. Geez, they're beautiful. They puff up a little bit and then sort of collapse back down. But you'll notice they haven't shrunk all that much, and that's because of the breadcrumbs with the milk soaked in. And it really helps them keep their shape and keep their dimensions, I guess. So just lift them out. Come on, Trey. There you go. Lift them out and That's them done. They are sitting in little pockets of fat slash juice. That's fine. Leave them. Because when you pull them out to use them, it'll drain off them anyway. So look at this. Hold on. You're going to love this. This is gorgeous. Look at gorgeous. Look at the size of that gigantic ball. Super tender, super flavorful, but then, yours will taste like whatever yours tastes like. But the texture is beautiful. It's tender, it's meaty, it's not super, super dense. These things are fantastic, and you can use them a million different ways. Okay, full disclosure, this is my favorite way to eat these things. So you take a frying pan and you put in some oil. Let the pan get screaming hot. Then you throw oil in there, because hot pan, cold oil, food won't stick. Just remember that forever. And then fry these babies up. You want them to get a little tiny bit crispy. These were almost room temperature, so I wanted to get them really hot again in the middle. They are so good. And by frying them up lightly, they don't absorb any fat, so you don't have to worry about that. They've still got some of the beef fat, from just cooking them the way that we do, like that steaming of them. So they get kind of crispy, crunchy on the outside, super, super easy. And it's as though they've been fried without absorbing any extra oil or anything like that. Get a hunk of bread. I just had some homemade rolls, put way too much butter on, shoved these things in, ate them like a caveman. So delicious. This way of making these meatballs is the handiest thing ever. Beef, pork, chicken I'm not a big fan of, but I don't think I like chicken balls anyway. But anyway, do this. These containers are fantastic to use. You can do so many things. The meatballs, I think, are my favorite thing to do in them. Or you can just make meatball sandwiches, and there's nothing wrong with that at all.